Hello guys, this is Dr. Siddhant here. Welcome to the Step to CK series. Today we are going to discuss about the resources that you need to use for your USMLE Step to CK. Starting source would be, I think if you are in college or if you are going to give your medical school exam and you will not have time to be in dedicated but you just need some orientation towards Step to CK, I think you should consider Kaplan, Goes and Beyond, or online method. Uh, these wouldn't really help you directly into preparing for Step to CK, but it just if you want something along with the usual textbooks in college, then these might be the materials that might orient you towards USM. Now, the golden resource of USMLE Step to CK is obviously the UWorld question bank. This question bank comprises majority of the preparation of USMLE Step to CK. So you need to have very strong hold in the content of UWorld. Now the tricky part with UWorld is that you really need to know how to do it efficiently. Otherwise, I know people who take forever to complete it, and there are people who do it in a very short time. So really, the number of questions in UWorld is increasing by every day. It's I think 3,990 right now, and it might increase to 4,000. So the volume of content that UWorld has is very sufficient. So now I'll talk about two things which is very important when it comes to UWorld. Firstly, I want you to understand this thing that if you know how to do UWorld efficiently, then 70 to 80% of your job is done. That's it. And the second thing is that you need to have consistency. You cannot afford having a 1 month break, 2 month break, 2 weeks break while doing UWorld. That's because that will ultimately prolong your duration of studies. You know, have systematic breaks, but do not take huge breaks. Now, most people, most students, ask me this question: that how many questions they should do in a day or in a month to complete first pass. Now, listen to me. Whenever you will start, at first you will not be doing like 40, 50. No, the week might start with 10, 20, 30. That's how you start doing it. You know, it's not like you suddenly start doing 40, 50, 80. That is the case for many people, that they start with 10, 20, and then they increase their speed. Now what I want you to know, that a healthy amount of time for UWorld first pass is 4 months. There are 4,000 questions in UWorld, and if you keep a target of reaching to 25% every month, like 1,000 questions every month, that's a reasonable target to have. So depending upon your previous knowledge, it might take minus plus month plus 1 month or minus 1 month. Like it might take 5 months to do first pass, or you might be able to do in 3 months or less than 3 months. So for an average person, I think 4 months is a reasonable amount of time. Target 1,000 questions a month and try to complete it in 4 months. Don't take breaks in between. Don't have huge breaks. Like I said, don't break the consistency, and you're good to go. Your target should be 4 months. You will first pass. Now we are going to talk about how to do UWorld first pass. So we'll be talking about first pass now. The first pass, I want you guys to do it in tutor mode and subject wise, subject and system wise. Now, why do we do it subject and system wise? Is because supposing you take up cardiology, or supposing you take any other topic, endocrinology, what happens is when you do subject wise, then you're learning. Initially, when you start giving a block, you might not score that well. You'll see this, that in the second block also you might not score that well, but in the third block, the knowledge from first block and second block of that particular system will help you score better in third block, and in the fourth block you'll feel confident in the whole system. So what happens is that during the preparation of a subject, you go through a phase where firstly you don't know much about the subject and system, and towards the end of completion of that subject you feel confident. Like you feel like your base knowledge in that subject has increased from this to this, a little higher. Like you know something about the system now. That is the point of doing UWorld first pass, is to just get familiar with all the topics and the question asked in the particular system. This is why I suggest you to do it tutor mode and subject wise. For example, let's take cardiology. So in cardiology, first do cardiology medicine. Then, for example, do cardiology pediatrics. Then do cardiology obs and gynae. This is how you go subject and system wise. You chose a subject, cardiology, and then you go system wise. You wrap up the whole subject, cardiology, then move on to the next subject. This is what you need to do. Now let's dissect UWorld first pass layer by layer. It is very important to know what to focus in UWorld first pass, because the content is huge and you're doing UWorld for the first time, that it is overwhelming to retain all the information. So you need to be selective here. What you need to do is, you will see this, you will observe while doing first pass, that there are some questions, some concepts, some tables and some charts that repeat more often versus other concepts and chart. So what I want you to do is try to remember those charts, because they are probably the bread and butter cases or the most common scenarios or the most common topics in that particular subject. If you do that, you will make sure that you have a key idea of that subject, and that is what first pass is all about. So do not focus on nitty-gritty details or an outliner question or some unique disease. No, just read them, go through it, understand, but try to remember or try to retain or try to familiarize yourself more with the key concepts of that particular system, and you will understand that this particular concept is a key concept when it will repeat more often than other. One very important decision that you need to take while doing UWorld first pass is whether you will be making notes or you will not be making notes. Now you need to understand that making notes and not making notes does not have anything to do with the score you will get in the exam. All you need is to understand in the first pass. Do not make notes so that you will learn it or you will be able to see it. Most people who make notes are not able to read or see it again. Most people do it because it helps you understand. For a lot of people, the process of making notes help them understand a concept better. For that, it is fine. Now suppose you want to make notes and you also want to use it to revise it later. If you want to use your notes to revise it, and it's not just a process for you to understand, then what I want you to do is to make it very crisp and very short. Like if you read a question and if you get a key point out of the question, just write the key point in your language and then move ahead. That is how you should be making notes if you want to revise it again. Because if you start making notes including all the tables and everything, it will eventually become a 3,000 page, 4,000 page book. You will not be able to revise it. You will not get time. And even if you will want to revise it, it will be passive learning, which will again not help you. So you really need to make a decision about making notes. If you want to make notes for yourself, either in the UWorld application or in you want to write it down, I wouldn't suggest writing it down because it will be too long to write it. But either you're typing it out in some MS Word or any other application, then you need to understand that you're just doing it for the sake of understanding. And if you want to use the notes again, then write it, make it short. That's how you should go about it. For people who do not want to make notes, but they want something physical like a book or something, then you have this PDF, notes PDF that keeps updating time to time. You can use that. You can use that for all the major charts and table, and for a particular reference. Sometimes you might have to go back to another system and see the reference. You can use that notes. It's a PDF format notes. It's available in Facebook groups and you will very easily be able to find it. I'll also try to attach a link down below. You might download it from there. So you can use that note just to see as a reference, or you can add some extra information in that notes if you see in your, but make sure that you use the most current one or the most recent one, because there are a lot of version of that notes, and I don't want you to use the old ones because they have at least 40 to 50% of the content lacking. So that's how you should uh, do the notes in case you want to save time, and if you are not all about making your notes yourself. Now let's talk about flashcards. So UL has come up with its own flashcards, in the sense that you can make custom flashcards while you are doing the UL first pass. Now I found flashcards to be very helpful. This is how I used to go about it. So in the first pass, you wouldn't be able to exactly know what to add in flashcard, what not to add in flashcard. You might add too much information in the flashcard. So my advice to you would be that whenever you do a question, then after doing that question, ask yourself what the question was trying to talk about. What is the key concept in this question? And make a flashcard in your own language asking that same question. Supposing there's a old lady who's diagnosed with GCA, giant cell arteritis, and you want to write a question about it. You don't have to you don't have to make a flashcard mentioning all the details that she's a 60-year-old, this, that. No. I want you to write in your own language that the question about the old lady having GCA, and in the answer side of the flashcard, I want you to have that 3-4 lines key point attached with a table, or or uh, or a chart that is given in the explanation. That's it. So while making flashcards, supposing you find the same table in the next question, then in the next question, if you have had that table previously and if you have added that in flashcard, try not to add that table again in the question the next time you see it, so that you could reduce the amount or the content. If you want to see the flashcard again, you could reduce the content that way. Otherwise you'll just keep repeating the tables, and that doesn't make sense. Another concern that might trouble you is that how do you retain the previous subject that you did? Like, you'll continue doing the subjects, uh, but you might end up forgetting the first or second subject that you did, and this is really an issue. So what I would suggest you is that when you jump to a next system, like for a given week you're doing this system or this subject, then you should try to take at least 4 or 5 hours out and try to revise that subject, or see some flashcards, or see some notes from the subject you have completed. In that way, towards the end, you'll feel like you have brushed up on all the subjects or all the systems. Now I'll summarize everything about the UWorld first pass into 6 major points that you need to remember. Number one is system-wise tutor mode. Got it? Second, 1,000 question per month. A reasonable target is 4 month. Third, try not to break the consistency. If you have something important in a particular day, you will have to take an evening off, or the guests have come, or any situation, try to do 10, 5. Don't break the link. Try to do some questions a day. You might catch up here or there, and you will be able to do on an average 1,000 questions a month, but don't break the consistency. Fourth point is that in starting you might feel a little lost. You will not know much about the system, and you will not score that well. Be okay with it. Also, in starting, you might not be able to do a lot of questions in a day. Be okay with it. It happens with everybody, and it's normal. Fifth point, making notes or no notes is of your choice. But if you decide to make notes of your own, try to make it crisp. Otherwise, you will not be able to revise it. And if you want something physical, or if you don't want to make your own notes, use the latest version of the PDF notes. Sixth point about flashcards. I think flashcards are really good. You should make flashcard, but do it in a way that you ask question to yourself and write a key point. Don't try to make lengthy flashcards in the sense that they should not contain too much information. Make it crisp. And this is everything about the UWorld first pass. If you do it this way, I'm pretty sure that you will learn really well and you will be able to complete your target in a reasonable amount of time, that is 4 months. Stay tuned, wait for my videos, and I hope you guys are able to get some help from my videos. If there are any questions, please comment down. If I get time, I'll answer. Thank you.